Hi, thanks for finding my channel, and the video today is in response to a note I received from Richard. He commented that I'd made a video about the three principles and a couple of problems that I'd had with it and some good experiences well over a year ago, and he wondered if I had any further information I'd want to add. And the answer to that question is yes. So before I fill you in on that, perhaps let me very, very briefly tell you what the three principles is all about. And of course, if you are a client, then I'd go into a lot more detail. But this is a superficial pass through the philosophy of the three principles. It was a way of thinking about how the brain works, devised by a Scottish welder called Sydney Banks. And his views generated a lot of traction with people, and they helped a lot of people through the problems of life that we all experience. And his three principles were this. He said the brain is a complex piece of equipment, and there's only really three constants in it. But even though there are only three, there's an infinite variety of possibilities that can arise from it. So the first principle is that of thought. Now, we all have thought. It comes from the deepest, darkest parts of our reptile brain and is formless. We just feel stuff without really knowing what it is. And thought is the creative energy behind everything we do. And the more creative we want to be, the more this concept of three principles can help us. Thought is like the paintbrush that turns the formless, the invisible, into shape and substance that we can perceive through our senses. And that leads us to consciousness, because once thought has transformed into consciousness, has reached our consciousness, by definition, it is something that we experience. And so our conscious mind is a capacity for experience. So everything we see, hear, feel, smell, and taste, and possibly intuit through our sixth sense, comes to us through our conscious mind. And this is universal. It's nothing specific to us, just like thought isn't. We all have access to the same kind of thoughts. So consciousness is in theory infinite, because our universe is infinite, but in reality we only live or perceive a very tiny fraction of that. So what difference would it make to our lives if we could perceive just a little bit more? And the third principle, the third constant, which is once again universal, doesn't just belong to you or to me, it belongs to us all, is that of mind. Mind is a higher order of intelligence. And when and if we can learn to tap into it, then it provides fresh thoughts in the moment, when we most need them very often, and is a source of wisdom, which will guide us through the pitfalls of life. And we all know there's plenty of those. So that all sounds very well and good. One of the problems is it's very hard for people to explain. And I'm indebted to Michael Neal, who was is my three principles coach. And much of the words that I've chosen are very similar to the ones that he would use. So that's it in outline. Now, the video I posted about 18 months ago said I had a couple of problems with this. And here we go. Here are the problems first and how they might have changed. There's nothing new here. I mean, I've been studying philosophies and superficially various religions and the way our mind works for as long as I can remember. And I don't really see anything terribly new in this. It's packaged in an appealing way that makes it easier for people to understand. And so that's not to say that it's not of value. It certainly is. But to me, when I think of the universal mind and things like that, I'm drawn to the work of the psychologist Carl Jung. And I studied him in depth too, and find his views on life and the way our mind works to be of constant help. But like I say, nothing is ever new in this world. And all of us will resonate with a particular presentation and style. The underlying message is what is important, and that is, in so many cases, is the same. So what was the other problem with it? Well, I suppose how difficult it is to use. Because if one is going to truly embrace these concepts, then it means that all the things that we've learned over the years about the importance of planning and preparation and willpower and persistence basically go out of the window. Because if you really can believe that there's this higher order of intelligence behind us, then really all you have to do is just show up. And for 2-3 years at least now, that's what I've been doing. I've been showing up whenever I get an opportunity. As I tell my clients, put yourself into the game. Put yourself into any game in town. Some of them will be pretty lousy games. You'll get a few bruises along the way, but some of them will lead to experiences that you literally would never have dreamt of. So I have been doing that, and I have to say, my life has been more successful. I've certainly had more opportunities than I've ever had before. I've had a lot more fun than ever before. I've had much less stress, because if you just have to show up, I mean, all you have to do really is get there on time with your head in the right place. And perhaps more importantly, well, definitely more importantly, my clients have done pretty well too. So I'm at the stage now where every day I think about three principles. It's really the fabric of my work as a mind coach, and also as a speaker, pretty much, and also it's pretty much everything that I do. So every single client that I go to, every talk that I present, there will always be underlying it the foundation of the three principles, or what I prefer to call Carl Jung's view of the collective unconscious. So apologies for such a brief explanation. I hope it hasn't confused you even more. But getting back to the question, what has changed? That's what Richard asked me. Well, what has changed is the fact that I have incorporated this, I guess, into my personality, and definitely into my practice as a coach and my development as a person. Because we never stop learning in this world, and that's what Carl Jung called our individuation. He said our life is a journey towards spiritual enlightenment. Well, I can't wait for that day when I get enlightenment, and I'm not going to stop trying to get there. So feel free to email me or contact me in any other way if you have questions, and I'm sure to be talking more about the three principles in the future. So until then, I would say put your head in the right place and the rest of your body will follow. So carry on with your wonderful life, and I hope you achieve some very big dreams indeed. Goodbye.